Welcome, everyone, to our first Smarter in September segment of 2024. I'm Kelly Robert. I'm the Journey Program Manager here at UBT. Journey provides opportunities for education, enrichment, and entertainment for our customers and their friends who are lucky enough to be over 50, although we welcome anyone of any age to join us. We have this really popular series called Smarter in September that we started actually during the pandemic. And now that people can actually get out and about, they still want us to bring this programming to them. We decided to kick off the season with one of our most popular virtual programming presenters, and it's Jennie Dunavan, our Hy-Vee dietitian. Jennie has someone special with her today that I'll let her introduce to you. But I'm going to tell you just a little bit about Jennie. Just a little bit about her, just to give you an idea. Jennifer Dunavan is employed with Hy-Vee as the Lincoln Market registered dietitian, which serves her well as she is a huge foodie and loves to see what's new and delicious in the aisles. She obtained her bachelor's degree from UNL and her master's degree from Illinois State. A busy mom of three, Jennie is involved with the State Dietetic Association, is past president of the Nebraska Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, and is passionate about helping others live and eat well. Jennie, welcome today, and please tell us about smarter shopping and meal prep, getting the most bang for your grocery buck.
Yes, thank you for that great introduction, Kelly. Yes, I do have a special guest with me. I have Hannah Boyd with me. She is a dietitian new to Lincoln Hy-Vee. She's going to cover the two South stores, so Williamsburg and 70th and Pioneers. And then I'm kind of staying, my territory is the three stores north of O Street. So I just wanted to bring Hannah today. She's going to share some things too, so you can have the opportunity to meet her. So yes, we are going to be sharing smarter shopping, getting the most bang for your grocery dollar today. Just tips, tricks, how to make your grocery dollar go further in the aisles. So today, just how do you manage those food dollars? Because a lot of us have expenses that we can't control, but we have some flexibility in our food dollars, right? So we are going to talk about how to make those dollars stretch. We're going to talk about nutrition basics using something called the plate method, the importance of each food group and some budget-friendly items in each food group, and then some simple meal and snack ideas. So this is just a quick snapshot. So maybe the prices have even gone up, but if you go out to eat, it can easily be $15 to $20 for an individual, right? So this is just that comparison that if you go out to eat, you can plan to spend that $15 to $20 per plate. But if you were to cook that same kind of meal at home, look how much you would be saving. About $10, right? And not to say that we can't ever go out to eat because, we're social, right? Many of you probably eat out a couple times a week, but there are some strategies on how to eat out smarter too that we'll address. Again, kind of when you are thinking about cooking more at home, there's definitely some considerations on you're going to pay more for those convenience items. So anything that's packaged for you or packaged individually or chopped or washed, ready for you to use, is going to cost more. So this is just something that I pulled off that it's goldfish crackers, the individual packs or the whole pack, right? I remember growing up, my mom would get everything in bulk. And then when she got at home, when we were putting away groceries, one of us would be standing at the counter and we would be having to separate the things in bulk into individual packages, but just using plastic bags. Okay. So that was my mom's way of making our family's grocery dollar go further. there always something to be said about value. And maybe you're willing to spend more on something, that bag salad kit or the peppers that are ready for stir fry that are already chopped up for you. Maybe to you, that value of having that item that way means more to your food dollar. So again, if we can kind of move away from eating out so much and eating at home, that's just automatically going to put more money in your pocket, right? So one of the ways, if you don't have a plan, then you're just going to fail, right? It's going to be easy just to say, oh, I'm going to go grab a burger. I'm going to go out, grab a chicken sandwich. What's for dinner? I don't know. Let's just go out and grab something. So I would encourage everyone to start to make that meal plan. Okay, you don't have to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but maybe you just do dinner, okay, or whatever meal you struggle with. I guess I usually find that they're okay eating the same thing for breakfast and lunch, but dinner is where that struggle is. So if you just assign a different type of food to every day of the week, then that makes meal planning easy, but you can also shop that way. So this is just an example what I have on here. Every Friday is pizza at our house. Usually on Saturdays we grill burgers. Okay. So that means that during the week or the month, I can be looking for some good deals on hamburger. And if I know every Saturday is burger night, I can already go ahead and grab that meat and put it in the freezer for when and pull it out when it is that Friday. I did work with a customer and they always had salmon Sunday. And I just thought that had a nice ring to it. So I put that on there. If you're not familiar with a sheet pan meal, we'll kind of dig into that in a few minutes. And Tuesday, it doesn't literally have to be Taco Tuesday. It could be some other kind of Tex-Mex, but that's where you put that meal at, right? So if you find a new recipe that you want to try that's kind of that Tex-Mex inspired, you could put it on Tuesday. I have had customers, just when you get to that age, especially when you're empty nesters or like you are a smaller household, um, we just kind of get to the point where we're done. We have that fatigue from meal planning, right? We don't want to think about it. So I have had customers who have tried like those meal delivery services, those kits like Home Chef, Blue Apron. But again, those can add up quickly too and kind of ruin your grocery budget. So I guess my approach to that would be to shop like the meat case. So on Monday, maybe you're grabbing a marinated chicken breast. Maybe on Wednesday, it's the stuffed pork loin. Um, Maybe Sunday, it's that salmon burger from the meat case. So then all you have to do is add a whole grain and a vegetable. It can be frozen, fresh, canned, whatever. But that's a simple way to meal prep too, a meal plan, using that convenience in mind. Another principle to kind of save on the grocery budget is to make once, cook once, and eat twice. So maybe day one, you're having some rotisserie chicken with some vegetables and a starchy carbohydrate like potatoes or rice. The next day, you can take that leftover rotisserie chicken and make chicken salad sandwich. We as dietitians talk about nutrient density a lot rather than calorie dense. So, for example, soda is calorie dense. It has a lot of calories, not any nutrition. So we are always concerned about nutrient density, and Hannah's going to dive into that more. But how much nutrition can you add to that meal? So, to that rotisserie chicken here, you're adding nuts, grapes, maybe almonds or celery, just to add some nutrition to that rotisserie chicken. And I'm a huge fan of a one pot meal. So sometimes I just like to see how many different food groups can I get into one pot or one casserole or one dish. A few slides back when I was showing that meal prep or meal planning, you might have seen grain bowls. So that's where you have that foundation of a healthy grain like brown rice or quinoa. And then from there, you're layering on some lean proteins, lots of vegetables. So again, here's just another example of you're making it once and you're eating it twice. Maybe you are grilling some steak, and again, you're having that vegetables and some healthy carbs. And then for lunch, you just pair that leftover grilled steak with a bag salad kit. So again, like I said, I'm a huge fan of soups and stews and casseroles, and that just makes that, it can kind of go further. Except now I have two teenage boys, they're freshmen, and my 13 by 9 casserole does not feed our family anymore for 2 meals. So it maybe feeds family for meals for that dinner, and then it's leftovers for my husband and I for lunch the next day. So rethinking meats. If you can add something to your ground burger that you're buying, or the ground chicken or ground turkey, that will make that animal protein go further. Because a lot of times the plant proteins are much cheaper than the animal proteins. So what we mean by this, yes, you can eat a plant forward diet, but you can also mix some like canned beans with that ground meat. When we do taco night at our house, I always add in like either a can of refried black beans or a can of black beans. Another thing that you can do is something called the blend. So if you guys grab a package of mushrooms and puree them, when you're sauteing them with your ground hamburger or chicken, they'll turn the same color and you won't even notice that you have mushrooms in there. They will definitely add a savory flavor, um, but they'll add just more of that nutrient density to that animal protein that you're cooking with. So again, produce, just having a plan with produce, I just find that a lot of people have really good intentions to eat healthy one week, and they'll load up on fresh produce. Well, what happens if you get it home and you put it down in your crisper drawer? It's easy to forget about it, right? Um, so I would just say when you get that fresh produce home, to keep it on eye level in your refrigerator so that you remember to use it, or on the counter so you can remember to use it if it doesn't have to be refrigerated. Also, planning out your produce. So maybe in the first part of the week, you're using the fresh, and then later on in the week, you're relying on that canned or frozen. Canned, fresh, or frozen, it all counts as a servings of fruit. Um, a lot of times the canned and frozen are they're picked at its peak, and then it's quickly frozen or quickly preserved. So all the vitamins and minerals are there. Canned may have an absence of some fiber, but mostly all the vitamins and minerals will be there. If you're looking at canned vegetables, I would always look for no salt added, low sodium, and then fruit just unsweetened or something packed in its own juice. And just start with the basics. So again, this is just a suggestion of what you could stock your pantry with. And you can see just from the list here, you can get really creative about the types of meals that you prepare, because there's kind of something from every food group, and these staples are very budget friendly. Also, your provider may have talked to you about following a Mediterranean diet, and that's something that I'm seeing more and more customers coming to me wanting, is how to follow the Mediterranean diet. And a lot of the foods here are not only budget friendly, but they also satisfy that Mediterranean diet strategies and elements. So just meal prep tools. So kind of, if you don't have the right cooking equipment, you're not going to be very successful in the kitchen, right? So some of my favorite things are pressure cookers. and air fryers. And again, when I had that meal plan, I had a sheet pan meal. So that's where you just get a rimmed baking sheet. And if you have some thinner cut animal proteins and then you add some non-starchy vegetables on there, like broccoli or cauliflower, everything's going to cook at once and be ready at the same time. And there's not a lot of prep to do that because you can put everything on the pan and season it right on the pan, and into the oven it goes. I have seen a resurgence in the George Foreman's from 20 years ago, and I love them. They're a great fast way to get a healthy meal on the table, especially if you are a smaller household. The jars here with the plastic lids are for mason jar salads, so that's something that you can prep like on a weekend, and then because it's unmixed in your refrigerator, it stays fresh. So when you assemble the mason jar salads, you're putting the least kind of perishable vegetables on the bottom, and then you're layering it from there. So the ones that break down a lot, you go on top. And then when you're ready to have it, you just pull it out of your fridge. You can dump it over in a bowl and mix it. I really like these plastic relish containers. One week I'll assemble like a relish tray, and then the next week I'll do a fruit tray. And literally I just pull it out and throw it on the table as an easy side dish. Or, if you get the munchies, it makes a great little snack too. You don't have to do a big one. You could do even a little version of this. So just kind of smarter shopping tips, just really knowing what your grocery budget is. Do you just wing it, or do you really have a concrete idea of what your grocery budget is? When you do eat out, can you split with somebody, or can you order from the kids menu? Paying cash for groceries instead of swiping a debit or credit card is another strategy. Just because you don't have that concrete money in your hand, it's easy just to, keep adding on to the grocery bill. But if you're paying with cash, you just have to be more conscious of sticking within that cash budget. Sticking to your list. So kind of going into the grocery store with a list, a black and white list, not just kind of winging it. And it's totally true. Don't shop when you're hungry, because everything will look good and everything will go into your cart. You can use the smaller cart too. And I know that I cannot go to the grocery store with my 4 kids, or I guarantee I don't have a grocery budget left. So maybe if you have kids still at home or grandkids, maybe you've experienced that too. And I just tucked this slide in here because I just thought it was really appropriate when you're trying to smarter shopping in the grocery store. I think that's kind of what sets us apart from other grocery store chains, is that Hannah and I are in the retail setting. We're inside grocery stores. And just as of September 1st, we are now able to accept insurance and bill for insurance. So I just think that totally sets us apart when you can come see a dietitian in a grocery store, and we can go out on the floor and actually look at products. And, you can bring your phone, take pictures of what we're talking about. If you are on Medicare, it only covers the cost of a dietitian if you have diabetes or renal disease. So just something to keep in mind. So I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Hannah, and I'm going to click off camera so she can be on camera.
So, hey everyone, I'm Hannah. Like Jennie was saying, I'm a registered dietitian with Hy-Vee. I cover the 2 South Lincoln stores. So I'm going to cover more of the nutrition basics, go over the food groups, and I'm going to start with the plate method. So a lot of the stuff you might have already known. It's kind of nutrition 101, but I feel like it doesn't hurt to have a reminder. So as you see on the screen, this is a picture of my plate. So you may have seen this or kind of a version of it before. So it used to be the food pyramid back in the day. So this is kind of the newest visual of what our meals should look like. So I'm going to break each of these food groups down. But our goal for each meal is to make it look like this My Plate when it comes to food groups and portion control. So for a meal, you want to aim to have 3 to 5 food groups, and then for snack, aiming to have 1 to 3 food groups. Okay, you can go to the next slide, Jenny. Okay. Oh, my picture's not showing up. Okay, there's supposed to be a picture, but I'm sure we're all aware of what the 5 food groups are. But dairy, fruits, vegetables, grains, and proteins. So while you're meal prepping for the week, ask yourself, am I working each food group into my daily meals and snacks? So I'm going to talk briefly about portion sizes because I think that's also an important part of eating balanced. Because if we don't watch our portions, we're likely to eat unbalanced. For example, it's very easy to overeat a portion size of something in the grain category. So it's important to create that awareness and help, just helps it all become a habit. Oh, there's my picture. Okay, so the first food group we're going to focus on is the grains, also known as your carbs. So carbs are our body's main source of energy. There's 2 main types of grains. So whole grains and refined grains. So refined grains are basically just more processed. So things like white bread, white pasta, white rice. If the label or ingredient list doesn't specifically say whole grain or whole wheat, it's likely a refined grain. So whole grains, things we should have more of. You're just consuming the whole intact grain. So you're getting fiber, you're getting vitamins, and it also takes your body longer to digest whole grains due to the fiber. So it's really going to make you feel full longer. Okay, and then notice that the grains take up roughly 1/4 of the plate. So you can kind of use that as a good, portion control. So things that would fit into the grain category. So all these are examples of whole grains. So brown rice, whole wheat pasta, it could be bread, a dinner roll, tortilla, quinoa. Those would all be great sources of grains. Potatoes, like a baked potato, would fit into this group as well. Okay, so next is our protein. So protein is essential for muscle growth, hair, skin, nail health, and it really just helps with the feeling of fullness and satiety. That's why it's important to have protein in all your meals and snacks. So as far as portion control, again, roughly it's about 1/4 of your plate. So this is about 3 to 4 ounces. You could also think of it as, the palm of your hand or a deck of cards for portion control. So this could be things like chicken, turkey, ground beef, choosing the leaner choices of ground beef. Could be fish, pork, but it doesn't have to be animal-based. It could be plant-based proteins as well. So things like beans, nuts, seeds, soy-based like tofu, veggie burgers, things like that. Okay, so jumping over to dairy. So of course, we know that dairy is our main source of calcium and vitamin D, which is essential for strong bones and teeth. And dairy also provides some protein as well. So the goal is to have 3 servings a day. So you know, you don't have to fit dairy into every meal if you are getting dairy in your snacks. So just aiming for 3 servings per day. So that could look like Greek yogurt, milk, cheese, really anything that you see in the dairy section. And then when you are, looking at yogurt or cheese or milk, looking for more of the low-fat versions just to cut back on that saturated fat content. So the other half of our plate is our fruits and vegetables. So most people don't fill half their plate with fruits and vegetables because it can be difficult to do. Even as a dietitian, sometimes it's easier to fill up on carbs instead of getting a serving of fruit or veggies. So first off, eat the rainbow, meaning eat a variety of different colors. So don't just focus on green vegetables. Eat a different, eat different colored produce because each color has different health benefits. Try different ways. So be creative. Don't, choose fun ways to eat veggies. Otherwise, it's probably going to get kind of boring. So you don't have to eat, raw carrots or raw broccoli every night. So I know at our house, we usually just roast them. So we'll take, like asparagus or broccoli, for example, drizzle some olive oil on it, add, salt and pepper or, your favorite seasonings, and then put it in the oven or air fryer. And so it's roasted. Or it could always just be a side salad with your favorite dressing on it. So just mix up how you eat your vegetables to keep it interesting. Okay, and then the last food group is healthy fats. So this is not on the plate, but it's very important to get healthy fats into your diet every day. So usually it's not on the plate because usually it's incorporated into your foods. So for example, maybe you're cooking with olive oil or canola oil. Fish contains lots of healthy fats. Maybe you put avocado or chopped nuts on your side salad. So usually these are just worked into your meal somewhere. Okay, next I'm going to show you 3 pictures of what a balanced meal looks like. So this first picture, it's kind of just perfectly puts a meal together based on the My Plate. So this is going to be a very filling meal. I mean, you have your brown rice, your Brussels sprouts, your strawberries are all going to have fiber, and then your chicken's going to be your protein. So that's kind of, and then of course your glass of milk for your dairy. So this next plate is a good example of how sometimes the food groups will be mixed together. So for example, in the picture, so this is supposed to be like a chicken salad sandwich. So the chicken salad is shown on the side for visual purposes, but normally when you eat a chicken salad sandwich, the chicken's going to be on the bun. So, the chicken salad sandwich isn't going to take up the whole plate, but you're still, the serving sizes are still appropriate and you're still getting all the food groups, if that makes sense. And then our last plate picture. So, how do our favorite foods fit into the plate method? So let's take pizza, for example. So let's just say you order pizza for, the football game on Saturday night. Instead of, piling pizza up and having it take over the whole plate, maybe just take one slice and then the other half of the plate, fill it with your favorite veggie or a side salad and then a piece of fruit. So you're still having your favorite food, but you're making it balanced. Okay, so next we're going to just talk about some easy meal ideas. So First off is sheet pan meals. So dietitians love sheet pan meals. I think Jennie talked about these too, because how simple they are, and it's so easy to add variety, and you can do a million different things with sheet pan meals. So I'm just going to kind of go through these 3 ideas quick, but the first one is just homemade pizza. So the one on the screen just lists like a wrap, but when we do homemade pizzas at my house, we usually just get naan bread. That makes a good pizza crust. And using some sort of pizza sauce, part skim mozzarella cheese, and then this is where you can get creative, you know, add whatever vegetables you like. We always like to add turkey pepperoni. It's a lot leaner, less fat than regular pepperoni, but I think it tastes exactly the same. And yeah, then you have your homemade pizza. And next is chicken fajitas. So your chicken breast, having, you know, the frozen fajita vegetable mix that's in the frozen section, or you could always just kind of get fresh, you know, bell peppers and onions and make your own. And if you're trying to eat lower sodium, Mrs. Dash is a salt-free seasoning line. They do have a fajita-specific seasoning mix. And then, of course, just top with your favorite toppings like avocados, beans, cheese. And then the last one is a cheesesteak sandwich. So buying those like frozen quick steaks, and then again buying the frozen fajita vegetable mix, adding seasonings, and then serve on a whole wheat bun, and then putting the Swiss cheese on top too. So in the underlined text, notice how you can take like the same ingredients, add a couple things, and then make it into a whole different meal, say for lunch the next day. So for example, the chicken fajitas, maybe you want to make it into a salad for lunch the next day. So just adding romaine lettuce, and then, you know, using the chicken and the vegetables to add in as well. Okay. So another one of our favorite things to recommend is using rotisserie chicken, because it's so versatile and so easy and convenient to add to so many different things. So here are 3 ways that you can use a rotisserie chicken. So if you have seen those, you know, salad kits, so you buy the bagged lettuce and then it already has all the dressing and the toppings already in the bag. So buy one of those, and then to make it into a meal, add shredded rotisserie chicken. You can make a sandwich by filling a whole grain pita pocket with your favorite veggies, and then putting the shredded rotisserie chicken in as well. And then making a veggie pasta. So doing like whole wheat pasta noodles, add your favorite veggies, and then adding shredded rotisserie chicken in. So it saves you time by already, you know, buying it cooked and ready to eat. So here's some more meal and snack options. I'm just going to go over the snacks. So like I said at the very beginning, we want to have at least 2 food groups for our snacks. Again, just to leave us feeling full and satisfied. So carbs and plus a protein is a great combination to choose. So for example, apple and peanut butter, or trail mix, or you could do a 4th cup of nuts and fresh fruit, veggies and hummus, string cheese and grapes. You could get some low-fat cottage cheese, put some berries in it, or you could get popcorn and, you know, use a handful of nuts as well. Okay, so here are some of my favorite healthy convenience foods to buy at the grocery store. So not all convenience foods are unhealthy. So here's some of my favorites that always have at home. So first off is tuna packets. So these are high protein. They're full of healthy omega-3 fats. So you can do a lot with these. You can make it into tuna salad, sandwich. You could add it to, taking a whole grain cracker like Triscuits or Wheat Thins and put the tuna on top of that. Or you could just eat it right out of the bag. Second is Greek yogurt. So Greek yogurt's high protein. It's important to look at the back of the label just to make sure that it doesn't have very much added sugar, because some yogurts can be high in added sugar. And then you can make Greek yogurt into a complete snack by adding, fresh fruit or a low sugar granola. Okay, next is canned beans. So beans are a nutrition powerhouse. They have protein, they have fiber, they have carbs. So you can really add beans into a lot of different things. So salads, you can mix it in with rice, pasta, you can put it in with soups. Next is instant brown rice. So I know the picture is small, but this is my favorite kind to get is the brown rice and quinoa mix. So obviously it's very quick to make, and then you just kind of add in your favorite spices to add some flavor to it, and then you have a healthy carb to go with your meals. All right, frozen vegetables. So I decided to put these on the slide just to say that it doesn't matter if the veggies are fresh, frozen, canned, they all have similar nutrition content. So if you tend to buy fresh produce and it goes bad in your fridge before you get to it, frozen might be a good option for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, the shortcuts. So our Hy-Vee shortcuts is just pre-cut fruits and veggies in our produce department. So it doesn't get more convenient than that. So, you can just keep it in your fridge to snack on. Saves you time having to cut it up yourself. Next is hummus. So if you've never tried hummus before, hummus is basically a bean dip. So it's made from chickpeas. So you could dip veggie sticks into it. I like to dip like Wheat Thins in, and it comes in a lot of different flavors. So that's a great snack. And next, rotisserie chicken again. This picture just shows that you can buy it already shredded instead of buying the whole chicken. So even more convenient. And lastly, we have this is a picture of the salad kits. So, at my house, we always have a couple of these in our fridge. So it just makes a great side salad. Or you can make it into a meal by adding protein in, like chicken, beans, things like that. Okay. So the rest of these slides are just meal ideas. I know that Jennie added these in, so I can kind of run through these. But Jennie, if you have any side notes that you want to add, feel free to jump in.
No, just like we just included some other ideas at the end of the slide deck, just to kind of give you guys more inspiration. Again, oftentimes we just get in a rut and we're just fatigued of making more decisions during our day, especially when it comes to meals. So the things on these next few slide decks, it's not extensive ingredients that you're using to make it a meal. And Hannah and I are both practical and down to earth, so we would never send anyone on a run to go get saffron threads and expect you just to use a little bit for something that's high cost. These are just pantry staples. So again, just a quick sloppy Joe, just using some few key ingredients. I know that I said grain bowls earlier. You can do the same thing with noodles. Ramen. We keep some ramen in the pantry just for quick meals. But you can always, again, much nutrition can you add to that ramen? Can you add some frozen vegetables? Can you even add we crack an egg before we make our ramen, and then it just kind of creates a poached egg in that ramen bowl. You can add some proteins, either plant-based proteins or like shrimp is a good choice to pair with ramen. Beef tacos. Again, we do tacos quite frequently at our house. I like tacos because the picky eaters can choose what they want on their tacos. Leftovers we usually assemble into taco bowls. Again, we kind of beat to death the sheet pan dinner idea. But again, what's great about the sheet pan dinner too is that you can control the portions for how many people are in your house. So, you can make a bigger sheet pan meal or a smaller one if you're a smaller household. I have no idea why there's that content on the side, if you guys can see that. Somebody in the chat wanted us to go back a couple screens, and I don't know if there was a certain slide in particular that you were looking for. Again, just a quick chicken enchilada soup. It's kind of becoming chilly weather, right? So if you guys make chili, you're looking for those low sodium canned beans, low sodium diced tomato products. All right, I think that's it. Stop sharing. You guys, what questions do you have for us? Welcome to our borders.
It's beautiful. I don't see any questions in the chat yet, but I know this is an inquisitive group, and I know you have questions for Jennie and Hannah. The comment in the chat, I believe Hannah's narrative was one off from the slide, or to put it a nicer way, the slide was one off from you, Hannah. So you got it synced up. It was great. I would say that I became a huge proponent of those sheet pan dinners because of your presentations, Jennie, and also because of something Journey hosted at Hy-Vee years ago. I use those recipes or riffs on them. I just go with my bad self all the time. So I would say if you haven't tried, if these ladies haven't convinced you to do the sheet pan meals and you're still on the fence, just go for it. Can you tell us more about going with the low fat or low sodium options whenever possible?
Yeah, I just think that I'm kind of my soapbox is that I just think we have too much added sodium in the American diet and added sugar. So ideally, keeping that sugar less than about 30 grams of added sugar a day. That's not natural from like fruits and some vegetables. Um, like to put it in perspective, like a 16-ounce Mountain Dew can have about 77 grams of added sugar. So, I mean, there goes like more than 2 days worth of added sugar, right? I know you asked about sodium, but I'm just throwing sugar in there too. Just some
Sure.
food for thought for your audience. Yeah, so a lot of our added sources of sodium do come from eating out and a lot of processed food and a lot of boxed quick meals, like convenience foods in the aisles. So, something that a lot of us rely on is freezer meals, TV dinners.
Mhm.
There are low sodium ones or lower sodium ones. You would just look for on the back of the label anything that's less than 600 milligrams of sodium for a frozen entree is a pretty good choice.
Perfect. I know there are so many of us that are watching our blood pressure and our sodium, and I was so pleased. I know that that's one of your hot buttons. So I love the suggestions that you make. Here we go. GERD foods, GERD. Let me read the rest, Sharon, of your question. It went too quickly. GERD foods, if you have acid reflux. Was at your store and tasted some carrot sauce.
Oh, so I guess just foods if you have reflux sometimes people have different triggers, so it's not like a one size fits all approach. Sometimes caffeine can be a trigger, high fat foods, spicy foods, acidic foods. It's kind of just also managing, after the meal, not laying down right away. If you have it during the night, maybe elevating the bed a little bit. I have heard that research show that exercise after the evening meal can help, and it doesn't have to be like you're going out for an endless mile run, but just even about 15 minutes of activity. It can be a walk around the block, can help with that evening reflex. I also encourage you that if you have bad reflux and if you've been suffering for it from years, to go, maybe it could be a sign of fructose intolerance. I don't know if Hannah has anything to add.
No, you can't hit it all. I think focusing more on things you should avoid, like fried food, really high fat foods, citrus, tomato based, coffee, carbonated beverages, peppermint.
Okay, Sharon, did we answer the question for you? Not me, but was the question answered for you? Does anyone else have a question for these ladies who are both just powerhouses of knowledge? I'll give you a minute to type because I am not a fast typist. I thank you both so much for your presentation today. I always learn a ton when you join us and you present. And I think, see, you must have covered everything so comprehensively that there aren't any more questions. The one that I'm going to get for certain afterward is it okay to share your presentation?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
Okay.
if you guys need a find Hannah or if you go to your favorite Lincoln Hy-Vee webpage, off to the left on that main page is dietitian services, so you guys can email us or call us too.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. Folks, it'll be about 10 days. Give me 10 days or so to get this sent out to you. It won't happen today. I'm very sorry. And again, I just would like to give huge thanks to our presenters for joining us today. And thanks to all of you for taking a slice out of your Tuesday afternoon to join us. And please come on back next week at this time. I won't be here, but my friend and colleague, Nicole Kaiser, will be hosting. And the topic is smarter about education expenses, saving for higher education while saving on taxes. We all have greats and grands and other favorite students, and we want to help them succeed, get a college education. And Jennie, as you know, it's going to cost a cent or two, isn't it? So come back and learn more about making that work for you. So thanks so much, everybody. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.